Fire Emergency Services in uMhlathuze in Richards Bay will be launching an aerial fire extinguishing operation. This is to contain flames. Although they have partially subsided, fires continue to burn near NCT Company and FOSKOR plant, which produces sulphuric acid, phosphoric acid and fertiliser. For more on the story, let's bring in SABC News reporter Vusi Khumalo live in Richards Bay. Vusi, a good morning to you. I see the smoke still billowing. In fact, you can see the flames out there as well. Do we know what started the fire? Let's start there, I think.
Yes, good morning. That's true indeed. We are inside this facility called NCT Forestry. It's a huge company that's also recognized as an international supplier of wood timber, as well as pulp wood, as well as chips, wooden chips that are being supplied to the Far East by this very company situated in the north coast of the province of KwaZulu-Natal under the city of uMhlathuze in Richards Bay. So it has been burning since Saturday. From the late Saturday, it is still burning. From the word from the authorities, as I'm stepping out of the shot, as you can see, the smoke is still billowing up the skies. I've got some authorities coming from the city of uMhlathuze, Mr. Xolani Engwezi, with the manager as well, Mr. Nko, as well as other dignitaries who have come here to get a proper briefing from the company itself. From the word that we have just got is that the company has just lost everything. There's nothing salvageable we got from the authorities as they've just got the briefing. Let us welcome the mayor now of Mr. Xolani Mashimane Engwezi. Welcome, sir. Such a huge, devastating fires that have left literally nothing here for this company, which is a multi-billion rand company.
Of course, Mr. Khumalo, and to all the viewers at home, this is a very devastating moment where this company has lost everything. The owner is estimating a loss of over 3 billion rand, and we know that this company employs more than 180 people. So it's putting food on the table to more than at least 500 people, because we know our family is a minimum number of 5 per family. And we really sympathize with him. We really sympathize with the families which actually benefit from the existence of that company. You know, we sympathize with ourselves as the city. These companies put a lot of revenue in the city of uMhlathuze. And this is really a step back in the growth of the economy of the city. Remember, we are the second largest economy now in the province. But with this devastation, really, I really feel very painful. And we thank all our teams, especially from the city. We have coordinated. We thank the company. We thank King Cetshwayo. We thank all the local industries who have been mobilized to assist in containing the fire from where it started burning. And we are advised that the burning at NCT will happen for weeks. It's still going to take some weeks. And we urge our residents to be vigilant and make sure that they report any suspicious fires around. All that is happening now is containing the fire where it is burning so that it doesn't proceed to other companies. For instance, a company that is a neighbor to this one is TWK, which also does the same work. And so we must make sure that the fire doesn't get to where we are now, because once the fire starts burning here, this company is just separated by a fence with FOSKOR, and you can see. But our teams are making sure that the fire doesn't proceed to other areas. It is contained from where it is, and then work is in progress, as you can see. The containing of fire on top and also on the ground is happening, so that at least by afternoon today, the situation is much more better than what it is now.
Perhaps if you can, because we were told that without really preempting the outcome of the preliminary investigation or of the source of this fire, what could have perhaps the reason for these fires? Because we're told that initially that the conveyor belt from this very same company could have been the one that might have had some problems.
Well, the suspicion is that it might have been the conveyor belts, but obviously we will rely on the information which will be provided after the investigation has happened, because currently it is impossible to go and do any kind of investigation inside, as the site itself is too risky for now for people to go there. So, but they suspect that it might have started in the conveyor belt.
Okay, perhaps you've alluded earlier about the neighboring communities such as Arboretum Extension and Arboretum, as well as other companies. Perhaps, is there any damage that have been reported as a result, maybe from spreading from here, from this area, or any risk to life? No risk, no injuries have been reported. Our teams, as I've mentioned earlier on, the company itself, NCT, the fire and rescue from the city of uMhlathuze, local industries. You can see there is Bell here, the neighbor himself, the TWK, have assisted to make sure that the fire doesn't, escalate or rather proceed to other areas. That included the residential areas. It was contained on the same day, and there is no risk to property other than the companies in the vicinity of where the fire is happening. And currently, you can see that all efforts are being put to make sure that fire is arrested from where it is. It doesn't proceed to other companies, as it poses a risk, to ignite fire to many other neighboring companies. So that's why I was saying that we thank the company itself for having been proactive, the officials from the city, the fire and rescue from the city, companies, Bell Equipment, South 32, TWK, and so many other companies that has come on board. In fact, the owner, Mr. Denny, informed me that people from across the country are actually making calls to say, can we come and assist? But the unfortunate part is that you can't assemble everyone, because then you will assemble those people, they will have no way to operate because of the space. As they do this work, they are advised by industry expert and fire experts, who tells them what to do. Sure.
And once, an advice is given that teams which are on the ground are supposed to be multiplied, I am confident and sure that they will listen, they will take any advice that can be given, depending on the behavior of the fire here.
Okay, thanks a lot, Mr. Mayor. That's the mayor of the city of uMhlathuze, Mr. Xolani Ngwezi. Let us welcome the company itself now, NCT Forestry. Such a huge devastation. I heard you earlier on, you saying that there's nothing salvageable. If you can just draw us a picture of what really happened.
Okay, thank you.
Perhaps if you can introduce yourself as well.
My name is Danny Knudsen. I'm the general manager of NCT. And this is my facility. This is our main facility behind you to see going in smoke, and the one on this side that we're trying to protect is TWK's. So the fire started on Saturday afternoon under incredibly hot and humid conditions with high winds. The winds then exacerbated the problem on Saturday night, and we fought all night to try and stop the fire from jumping to the second chip piles, but we were not successful, and the fire spread quite drastically. Since then, it's been very, very difficult to try and contain it to where it is. It's very difficult to, when you've got 70,000 tons of wood chips burning, to contain the heat and contain the fire. And the winds, of course, are making it really, really difficult for us. So all our efforts right now are to protect the chip piles that you see over here that belong to TWK, and the industry as a whole and the community as a whole are coming together to try and do exactly that. We are concerned because, as you can see, the wind is not working in our favor at the moment. But our efforts involve working from the ground with our fire trucks on the ground, and you can hear overhead that we are working on an aerial attack as well. A lot of the work we're doing is to put water and retardant down on these chip piles, because there's not enough water really at this time to try and put out the fire behind you see behind me right now. So the work that we're working on is to try and contain these flames and protect these piles as much as we can.
I heard the mayor saying that the amount could be more than 3 billion rand in losses. And perhaps if you can just also tell us about the impact this has had in the company, what will be the way forward?
So NCT as a forestry company has operations in this port here, and this is our largest operation. We also have operations in Durban, and we export about 1.2 million tons of wood chips out of this port every year. Our facility here is gutted to the ground. We've lost all the stock, and a lot of the equipment is damaged, and some buildings are still standing, but as an operation it basically ceases to exist. So that's immediately billions of rands worth of lost revenue and stock. We're thinking about that. We've been in contact with our clients, and we're thinking about how we can salvage what is possible and getting back to being able to run the operation. But now we're talking 6 to 8 months in time, and our priorities right now are to try and contain this fire and get it out. But yes, we've had devastating losses, billions of rands worth of losses. We're just very, very grateful that there have been no major injuries and no fatalities. That's a blessing as it is right now. We will come back from this. Our company is bigger than just this facility, and being a cooperative, we are owned by our members, and we have a very big forestry business to look after and find markets for them, and we will continue to do that.
Thanks a lot for your time.
Thank you very much.
That's Mr. Nusen, who is the general manager of this facility. If I can ask our camera person, Bab Japan Matebole, just to give you some of these visuals of the people. These are the emergency personnel as they arrived here on Saturday, as we've heard earlier on about all the emergency personnel, and also under the city of even as far afield as Melmo, the surrounding areas, they sprung to this facility so that they doused the blaze that has been raging since Saturday afternoon. So that's what has been happening here. They've spent no efforts in order to ensure that the flames are being doused. But as you can see, it's still raging on, even 2 days after the fire broke out in this facility. As we've had no casualties at the moment, and also no injuries or deaths that have been reported here as a result of this fire that broke out. Initially, what was also said was that it could have been the conveyor belt from this very same facility that we are in today, but as well as the winds, there were too much gale force winds that also compromised the situation, all the efforts that were here by the emergency personnel as well as the firefighters as they were trying to extinguish the fires. As I'm asking Babu Japan as well, just to also pan on his left slowly. As you can see, the smoke is still billowing up the skies here at this facility. As we've heard, that the fires may continue for up to weeks, about 3 weeks. So it will still be burning, even though there are those efforts that are trying to douse out the flames here in Richards Bay.